Hello guys and welcome back. Here we are into our third and final gold to diamond game, and this time it's gonna be a TVP yet again, but this is gonna be a little better because our two players here have had a number of vigorous local tournament success, and we are gonna get the inaugural champion of quarantine tournament gold to diamond Shenanigans versus our third placer from Battle Royale, STuggiii. And both of these players were a pleasant surprise to see into both tournaments. And hey, I am Daks, and of course, I'm gonna be joined by Malupeyt yet again. You remember
Yeah,
though, you remember these guys showing up, right? And they were such a good surprise into those tournaments that they were able to place really well in.
yeah. Stuggy actually beating me in the Battle Royale tournament. And for Shenanigans, actually nung quarantine tournament 1, hindi ako kasali.
Uh-huh.
But kasimula ko lang mag-StarCraft nun nung quarantine 1. And seeing Shenanigans really inspired me to join the tournament. Kasi, ewan ko, mayabang ako eh. Sabi ko, pag
Uh-huh.
sumali ako dito, kaya ko mag-champion. Tapos hindi. but
Really?
but Shenanigans was I think he has a really strong bio play.
Oh
Parang
yeah,
siya lang yung
definitely.
nagpa-bio nung quarantine 1 eh.
He brought in bio and won the whole thing. He is the
Mhm.
inaugural. He is. We call the getting all the one upgrades when you have the combat shield, the stim pack, the shells, the plus ones online. That is the Shenanigans build, and he does get that at a really good time. He just pushes on in. But now, since bio is pretty much the meta, does that mean that our boy Shenanigans here is one of the best coming into this tournament, or has he been left in the dust? Has been outclassed by other Terrans? So gonna be an interesting question to answer. But before we get into that, it's no question who our sponsors are. It is gonna be, of course, Pure PC and Block 101. Thank you to these guys for supporting the quarantine tournament. Of course, this is presented to you by DSL Mizzle, Daks PH, and Ice Boy Productions. As of course, for our gold to diamond champion, we will have a keyboard as well as that cash prize up for grabs. So thank you to Pure PC for the Fantech K613 Fighter TKL2 keyboard. Additional prize there for gold to diamond. Masters Plus though not gonna be left behind since they have the higher pot prize with the more money there. So everyone gonna be going home a winner if especially you can make it into the top 2 of your bracket. So Mr. Vic, if you win a keyboard, what would you do with it?
Well, I have a lot of keyboards here.
Oh.
But all the keyboards, they have the same function, to type. But they're like people. They have certain characteristics,
Mhm.
certain functions, certain roles in life. So I think I would cherish that keyboard very much.
Love it. I love it. You know, anything that's been given to me, I'll always hold it. Especially something it's I earn, right? It's something it's like this keyboard was because I was the champion of quarantine
Yeah, yeah,
tournament
yeah.
number
That
5,
too.
and you can flex that. It's just like, hey guys, can you hear that? That's a sound of the champion right there. So one amazing player from Gold to Diamond will be able to hold that keyboard and keep it in his arms, maybe tuck it goodnight when it needs to go to bed, that kind of thing. But the thing is, guys, our quarantine tournament number 5 has taken a new, completely different format. And with the updated schedule, here you go with our dates. We will have our live broadcast on the 26th of September for the 2 grand finals. We will, of course, accommodate the upcoming round 4 and round number 5s for both brackets for the remaining days, as you can see. So it's not anymore the gold to diamond on the 19th. Both of them are going to be on the 26th. It's only one match per bracket anyway, so it's very easy to do a back-to-back there. So if you can make it there, just need to do one live session, and you are in the money, you are good to go, and you can really prove that you can be the best in the quarantined tournament. But Mr. Vic, we'll be getting into our first game, and it seems like we're going to be getting it back into the classic maps that we've been talking about. Eternal Empire yet again, TVP action, but with more, well, refined players. Do you think that there can be more drops, there can be more better timings here? What's the play into this map?
Well, for me, Stuggy really likes to play really aggressively, and for Shenanigans, being a high tier diamond already on the upper echelons, this is going to be a really good clash among both of our players that have a title already attached to their name. So I'm
Can't
really
wait.
excited for this game.
Champion versus challenger, but at the same time, this champion needs to get back his crown. In the meantime, our challenger, a lot more recency with his medal. Who can win it though? I do believe that this is going to be a battle of Platinum versus Diamond, which is going to be pretty interesting because STuggiii seems like he hasn't been able to do much of a ladder progression there. But of course, our boy Shenanigans sticking to the high Diamond. But in any case, it's time to get into this game. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SCPH Quarantine Tournament. And here we are into Eternal Empire. So welcome back, ladies and gents. And if you guys are tuning on in, this is our third and final Gold to Diamond match that we will be featuring in our Round 2 broadcast. Yet again, this is going to be a TVP, but there's a lot of pedigree between these two players. Introducing first, on the southwest side of Eternal Empire, he is your surprising Protoss. He is on the color green, and he is looking to slay a champion. His name is STuggiii. And his opponents, here on the top right. If you ever want to see any kind of veteran play, it has to be this guy. The only one to innovate in the first ever quarantine tournament, and able to win it out. Now isolated here into the top right corner of Eternal Empire. Question is though, can he bring out the bio and bring out the Shenanigans build that we like? It is your blue Protoss. No, it's not Protoss. Just kidding. It is Terran. It's also gonna be our inaugural champion looking to get back. His name is Shenanigans, or in this case, Sarcasm. Great name, great name.
I really appreciate.
Say it like 10 times really quick, Vic. Do it for me.
Anyway, good.
Ayoko nga. What the thing to say? It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fall for your trick. So we see the SCVs and the pros fight because we will have Shenanigans trying to go for the expansion here, as STuggiii in the meantime will get his own natural. So TVP seems like though it's gonna be all about that refined play. And speaking of refined, one refinery here for some simple gas, and here we are into this map.
Yeah, I think even though that STuggiii is only in Platinum, he is doing things that I see on the Diamond ladder. I think it's maybe that he does not have a lot of time. Wala siya masyadong oras para makapag-ladder.
Maybe.
But in terms of mechanics, he really has it. He really has what it takes to be a Diamond player already, as he has been my practice partner too. Nung kaatapos lang nung Novice Cup. So I'm really excited on how this game would play out.
Seems like they were featuring people from your past there, Mr. Vic. So it really goes to show everything goes back to Ayos Buhay Productions. If you guys haven't checked them out, you can check them out at twitch.tv/Ayos Buhay Productions or on Facebook at Ayos Buhay Prod. So there you go. Big little plug there for my very special co-caster, as we are going to see the bunker up for the natural. We're going to, of course, get that Marine on the inside. 1-1 expand here for the side of Shenanigans, as STuggiii in the meantime will go in for that Robo. Question is, though, will he rush that Bay, or will we go for the Twilight Cancel instead?
Yeah, and standard opening here onto the side of Shenanigans, and Reaper would be his opening here. I mean Hellion.
You know, but something is amiss here, Mr. Vic. There's something on the south side. There's a blue block looking to get built. And Mr. Sarcasm here gonna be maybe, just maybe, bringing in a little bit of his own kind of killing joke. Because this starport is looking nice. It's looking pretty. The question is though, will it be Banshee Cloak? Will it be for the drops instead? But as you said, Hellion opening gonna be into play, swapping over the reactor over from the racks to the factory. And this is gonna be the initial Hellion looking to go for the poke in the prod. Does STuggiii know that this is coming? No, he doesn't. He is gonna get caught unaware for the time being. Warp Gate Research though will go online. Two-Bay setup. There we go with the Observer as well. It seems like for STuggiii, looking to play defensive, but the Robo Bay is gonna be out and about. Early Colossus will be the way to go.
Yeah, good reads coming in here from STuggiii, but this starport here is what is really interesting. I have seen a lot of Protoss do it. I mean, Terran already doing this against Protoss, and they are timing it for this harassment here onto this. It's kind of a para siyang multi-prong attack.
Yeah.
Na once you really can't defend it, I think you can just die to it.
Yeah, it's just so pesky, but I gotta say for STuggiii though, this man knows his build orders and he is anticipating a little bit of a drop play, but to his surprise, it's gonna be the Liberator instead. And the thing to note is he set up the observer on the west side, he puts the Stalkers there on the south instead, and here the corner of Eternal Empire, you're not gonna be able to survive, that's for sure. But the Reaper and the Hellions looking to cook up some probes here and there. 4 of them have gone down immediately. Sarcasm trying to bring the DPS on, but he can only go for the probes right now. But oh my god, STuggiii letting them line up, and this is just gonna be Shenanigans bringing his own kind of joke yet again, looking for more and more of these kills. 13 have gone down immediately, and a really good pick off here from Martsera, and he is just burning every single part of the middle line, and so far so good for our returning champion.
Yeah, I think this is too much damage already here onto the side of STuggiii. 20 probes falling down, and a lot of lost mining time there.
Huge. That's absolutely huge, and Terran can always take advantage of this, dropping down those mules, get more and more of those minerals, and now we will see the 3 racks, 2 base setup here from the side of Sarcasm. He's gonna go for it. He's gonna go for 4 and 5, and this might be an all-in by this point here, Vic. I don't see him letting up after getting that much damage. Engineering bays are also online, and this is gonna be a make or break timing attack here that we all know that Shenanigans can execute as quick as possible.
Yeah, two siege ranks already available at his disposal now, and without Blink or without those bulk of units tanking up, the DPS coming in from the Marine and the splash damage coming in from the siege tank, I don't think the Protoss can defend this.
And Gateway's still gonna get built on all around. External Thermal Lance gonna be absolutely essential if you're gonna go into Heavy Colossus anyway. But as you said, sheer numbers here for the side of Shenanigans very, very soon. And with 5 racks, 2 base, I don't see him letting up whatsoever on that Marine production. And as I say that, there we go with Combat Shield being upgraded. Stimpak is already ready to go. He can also add in the Concussive Shell if he's going to have a few Marauders in the mix. But for now, he's just focusing heavily on the Marines. Interesting enough, though, even though he does go for 2 base, he's only going to get 1 upgrade at a time. So, kind of an interesting call. Seems like he's saving that gas for more Medivacs if need be for the time being, though. There we see the Observer now get caught out by the scan. Shenanigans looking to get a bigger and better army, and it's pretty insurmountable as this goes on.
Yeah, I think Shenanigans really practices his harassment, as we have seen earlier. Kitang-kita natin, napakaswabe nung galawan niya nung naghara siya. Even though the Liberator has been picked off earlier, it kind of forced, parang nahirapan mag-micro STuggiii, or hindi niya kasi ina-expect na may Hellion run by. And at that point, just transitioned into this, you know?
Yeah, it was taking his sweet time. He was looking to take down the Liberator right on the southwest, and eventually he did it, but the infiltration was there. There already was the Hellions onto the natural, and as we get the Twilight Council, only ID almost 8-minute mark, this is already going to be Shenanigans looking to march with his big army. Siege Snacks, Marines, Marauders, this is looking to be a force to be reckoned with. Concussive Shell also going to get added into the mix, as +1 should be online by around the 8.5-minute mark if need be. But Sarcasm now going to be at the very least looking to set on up, stay on the high ground, and stay on an even playing field against his opponents.
And here comes the push coming in onto the side of Shenanigans.
Oh.
The siege tank's not sieged as of yet, but at this point it would just be hammering away onto the units on our Protoss side.
Later does go down. He's just baiting out the battery overcharge, and while this is all happening, he's gonna be getting that +1 armor as soon as possible. Still though, it's damage onto the nexus point, and the Stalker's gonna get torn apart by the shock cannons. One Colossus looking to be overwhelming, but no, the numbers aren't just there here for the side of Shenanigans, and it seems like this guy is back in full force. He has been the Reaper of every single bio-based composition, and he is going for a good attack here on the third base. Colossus now gonna go down. STuggiii cannot hold on to this base no matter what, and Sarcasm with an overwhelming lead will force out the GG. STuggiii will go down. Shenanigans will take the first map in this best of 3.
Good plays coming in from Shenanigans. It's like his championship form is back once again.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see here from our returning Quarantine Tournament #1 champion. And it really goes to show, especially that this is his meta. This is where he can truly shine. And STuggiii taking a gamble there with the fast Malupeyt, and it could have worked, but unfortunately for him, he was caught out with all those probes going down, and he couldn't tech up to the Warp Gates, couldn't tech up to the Twilight Councils. And then we talked about it in that last game, right? If you hit the Protoss where it hurts, it's just so hard for them to rebuild.
Yeah, and STuggiii struggling in that game from the early phases, and Shenanigans with sobrang ganda na ng follow up niya coming in from that point of the game. Good transitions coming in from him.
Absolutely
Really
commendable.
mechanics of a champion.
This guy has tasted the victory here in the quarantine tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would be one of the front runners to do so yet again. But we are now going to be getting into our second map, guys. Deathaura LE is where we are at. Shenanigans, though, with that first victory there on Eternal Empire. And what do you think, Vic, as we are going to be getting into this game? What can STuggiii do to turn the tides? Can he go for a little more standard play with the Twilight Council, go for earlier harassments, or do you think he was just caught out with those probes and the Malupeyt would have worked?
I think STuggiii needs to innovate something in this game and maybe try to get Shenanigans off guard. Maybe a proxy Void Ray or something like that. But we'll see. Because I think if this boils down to a micro versus micro, hindi kakayanan ni STuggiii.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that because we have seen Shenanigans dominate and decimate with those splits. But in any case, though, we are going to get split into map number 2. We are going to be getting into Deathaura LE. The question here is, can STuggiii force out a third map, or will we see another 2-0 to wrap up our gold to diamond parts of this broadcast? Let's get into the game. Here we go, into the edgiest map of them all, Deathaura LE. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a solid ride so far, and if you guys are just tuning on in, this is of course our last Gold to Diamond game. We still have the Masters Plus bracket though, so if you are looking to enjoy some PH StarCraft action, then this is where you should stay. Introducing first though, here on the southeast side of Deathaura LE. He's one map down, but he's looking pretty green here. He's looking to just go for the push, and he's looking to get one back. This man has been a surprise, has been an enigma, but we'll see, though, if he can figure something out. His name is STuggiii. And his opponents, here on the top left instead, he's one map ahead, and he is one of our returning champions. He is proving that the bio ball is the way to go, and he's looking pretty solid on that blue. It is your Blue Terran, Sarcasm, or Shenanigans. So here we are, Vic. Gonna be another game on to, well, Deathaura LE. Similar straights, perhaps, though, to our previous ones. And for you, what do you think about this map in general?
Well, Deathaura is really Terran favored. It has a lot of natural choke points. It has a lot of natural high grounds. And once a Terran turtles up and sets up some siege tanks here, it's really hard to get up to them. Well, that's my perspective since I'm a Zerg. But for the Protoss too, this map is quite okay for them. It has a lot of blind spots on where you can do some proxies or maybe drop or utilize your Warp Prism. So this map is really good against this matchup because I think usually Zergs ban this map. It's really hard for them against Terran.
Yeah, you know, it's just so pesky also. Speaking of pesky, as we see Shenanigans here looking to build a refinery onto the second gas of our Protoss, because in terms of the formation is triple base, so easy for drops to happen. Once you get that high ground control, then it's just so easy for the Terran to harass you onto your first and your third. And at the same time, you have those nooks and crannies that we see on Eternal Empire that you can actually go for the drops if need be. So I completely understand why Zerg would ban this map. But for Protoss, Blinkstalkers as well as Warp Pressives can even up those odds. Question is though, what's the play here? 2 bases now going to be up and running soon for both of our players.
Well, good block here coming in onto the side of Shenanigans, actually blocking and delaying this gas from the Protoss player. And for STuggiii, I think he struggled in micro. So micro wise, I don't think that I don't recommend him forcing a very late game against Shenanigans. And for Shenanigans, his timing attack is really strong, and if he manages to do that kind of timing attack and forcing some mechanical issues onto the side of STuggiii, that would be good once again.
Yeah, just look to kind of bait your opponent out in a way and shut them down. With a mind though, gonna be going line here for Sarcasm as well as the Twin Marines look to reinforce that bunker. But it is gonna be the 1-1-1 with the 2 base here for our Blue Terran. In the meantime, on the side of STuggiii, it's gonna be the removal facility yet again. Might be for the early observer, especially on a map like this. As you can see, the nooks and crannies there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for the bait yet again. All he needs to do this time, though, is find a way to protect his mineral lines. And the fact of the matter that Sarcasm is going for Widow Mines instead of Hellions is already a better indicator for our Protoss, rather, to do the same build and try to make it successful this time.
Well, earlier, STuggiii was actually anticipating some sort of drop earlier on, so we'll see if this would work coming in onto the side of Shenanigans.
Yeah, it's a really good point because he answered the Liberator quickly. The only problem was he didn't anticipate the ground-based comp. So with a focus on Widow Mines, this might be a lot better for STuggiii to answer back. Seems like though for Shenanigans, he's gonna go for the 3-rack setup on 2 base. Gonna be looking to go for the earlier timing potentially here because he's already getting his engineering base. So this does mean that he's gonna get his upgrades up and running. No inaugural fight to try and poke his opponent. So this means his timing attack is gonna be even quicker. So it seems like the plan of action for our Terran might just be all about finishing this game as quick as possible.
Now, Forge follow-up here and engineering base 2 onto the side of both of our players. So, I'm not sure what is the play here from STuggiii, but
It's the Bay. It's the Bay.
But
Look,
maybe
doing it again. It's the same build. It's really the same
Yeah,
build.
it's
He's
the
gonna
same
get the Colossus. He's gonna get the Roll Bay. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get that Thermalance ASAP as well. But for the time being, he had to answer in a similar way he did a while ago, right? On Eternal Empire, he found out where the Liberator was coming for and got that shut down. But this time, with Shenanigans only focusing on a Widow Mine drop, this might be a better situation here for STuggiii. Good answer, look at that. He immediately pulls those probes, leaves the one in the simulator to at least bait out that shot. And there we go for the lock-on, and he was able to save it with the iframes. But in the meantime, seems like some probes do go down there. 6 of them gonna get caught. And it's the problem right now for STuggiii. Every 1 step he takes forward, he takes 2 steps back because he is gonna lose a good handful there of those workers.
Yeah, I was about to say that good reactions coming in onto the side of STuggiii, but medyo half-hearted yung pag-pull niya ng probes, and that last Widow Mine actually connecting here on them while they are stacked here in the ramp.
Unfortunate. I love the style points though. A simulator iframes is like, hey, is this a fighting game? You talk about invulnerability frames or not, but at least the probe gets on the inside, and for some reason, right, the assimilator doesn't take any kind of damage there, so it is what it is. The missile just gonna fizzle on out, but unfortunately, more probes have gone down as this is just... It has to be STuggiii being careful because he lost out a while ago because of these probe pickoffs. And he does keep the lead for the time being, but if Shenanigans could keep this up, then we will see our Terran be successful yet again.
Yeah, it's like a replay of our first game. But STuggiii holding out his ground a little bit better this game. Last game he had 20 probes killed. At this point, he only had 10. So statistics-wise, he's really doing better in defending in these kinds of pushes.
That's a 50% decrease right there. We're doing the math, guys. We're doing the math. But you were saying statistics. This is it's economics subjects that you say, I don't need this afterwards, and then you have to work an Excel sheet and you cry yourself to sleep. But you were saying something about the matchup itself, and yeah, what is it?
But I think it would boil down to the mid game and what composition both of our players will choose. And Shenanigans still opting to go for that bio play. And for STuggiii, I think he needs to go for more Colossus and maybe Disruptors too as well, mixed into the fray.
Yep. That bait push gonna be looking pretty scary. Colossi plus Disruptors is gonna be a tag team tandem. Also, though, I like the Stalkers just in case there is going to be Medivacs up in the air. He's looking to dominate, he's looking to innovate, but he has to also answer back against things like Vikings, things like Medivacs, and for now, he is going to get external Thermal Lance. He's going to get a 3rd Colossus into play, and I like the odds here for STuggiii, even though he's down by 23 army. Having more and more of these Striders get even scarier for our Protoss.
Yeah, and also the worker advantage in favor onto the side of STuggiii. Really surprising there. And he's not just up
Go ahead.
by a small margin. He's up by a big margin here.
That worker count is looking really good, and even though he lost 10 probes, he kept up on the workers. He made sure he was producing. He made sure that he was going to saturate his 3 bases, and he's even looking hungry for a 4th base. But Sarcasm or Shenanigans now has had enough. He's gonna go for his own timing, and interesting enough, he moves on by the 8.5-minute mark. It's a lot later than I really expected. I thought he was gonna start harassing by the 7.5-minute mark itself. So these upgrades though should be online by around 9:15. Sarcasm though gonna be at the very least set on up to try and shut down this upcoming 4th base, and STuggiii might be forced to go for the cancel here. Scan though does get a little bit of a glimpse onto a few Colossi there, but for now STuggiii still looking prime onto the high ground. There we go though, Sarcasm pushing on to the 4th base, gets the shutdown onto the pylon. Was that a cancel though? I didn't really see too much there. But STuggiii has to be careful because these Vikings are looking to pack a punch. Ground weapons +2 online and good to go. And our Protoss having the quality upgrades. Can he actually make it happen? Vikings right now going for the pokes in the front. They will be able to get one Colossi. Yes, they do. Here comes the Charizards though in position. Batting overcharge gonna get there. And this is so good for our Protoss. The burns are absolutely too much. And this is why, guys, you have to put sunblock when you get to the beach. Because STuggiii looking overwhelming, and he is just ultraviolet in this bush.
Well, good engagements coming in onto the side of STuggiii. And really, he kind of forced Shenanigans to go up in this ramp. And the Colossus just went up and wrecked them one by one.
Nothing could be done there, and even though one Colossus did fall, the rest were still there. And I see this follow-up immediately after winning out a Bay push, is you go for a Dark Shrine, because it really puts your opponent on his toes, right? It's like, keep up the pressure there. It's pretty interesting, though, that you go for the DTs rather than the High Templar, but it really has just been more of the meta evolving. People have been saying don't sleep on the DTs because they're not just a harassment unit anymore. You can actually use them for army comps, and alongside Colossi, it isn't, you know, too much of a gas investment compared to High Temps itself, and it feels like it can be sneaky. They're sneaking on around, you're busy trying to focus down on Colossi, and then you suddenly see that your units are dying bit by bit. But don't mind though, gonna get caught out. There we go with the burns yet again, and STuggiii looking to hold against a potential drop because he knows this is coming with the Observer.
Yeah, I got to give the dose and credits to STuggiii here. His micro is good this game.
Now the Stalker's gonna get in position yet again, but unfortunately, it's not gonna be enough because these units are keeping an eye out. And something to also note, that's an Atosis Pylon. 3 warping, it's gonna go down. STuggiii has to be careful right now. He can't lose too much power here. Blink Stalkers, though, gonna pick off 1 full medivac. And 1 more for good measure. Doesn't happen. Very, very close. Good response still for our Protoss. And all he needs to do right now is build some more pylons, and he can go for a push with the army advantage.
Yeah, and also a massive supply difference coming in from both of our players, and I think it's the right time for STuggiii to actually attack and make his way across the map.
Confidence is here. He answered back against the drops, and he knows that all he needs to do is go for 1 more warp cycle if need be into this mess. But something to note though is he doesn't have a warp prism, so he's not gonna get quicker reinforcements. This is gonna be a do or die push for all of these units without any kind of additional add-ons. But for the time being, it takes a sweet time here for a Terran. He's getting so much production right now. He's adding in missile turrets, he's going for +1 plating, he's going for the +2. He's just making sure that he can get the kitchen sink and more. But for now, since it's not ready to go yet again, it's gonna be these pipes clogged, as this is gonna be goodbye to a 4th base. Drops might be happening soon, but there is just no time here for sarcasm because STuggiii is knocking on his doorstep, and he's gonna go for the march onto the high ground. Blink Stalker now to push on forward. There we go with the Zealots trying to cleave on through yet again. The Colossi protected them, but the Vikings getting the free hits, and eventually the Stalker's looking to aim on up to protect those Striders along the way. But STuggiii does have more of the numbers. He doesn't need the splash damage anymore, and this just might be it. Harassment now onto the 3rd mineral line. The command center will go down, and it seems like everything is falling apart here for Shenanigans. It seems like we are going to be going into map number 3 because this is such a decisive blow from STuggiii.
Yeah, I stand corrected. Good micro come in from STuggiii, actually having that level 3 weapons advantage. And for Shenanigans, +2 is already near its completion, so a huge differential on their upgrades here.
But you know what is gonna be up to completion here, Vic? This game is looking all but over as Sarcasm trying to defend with the SCV pull. STuggiii in the meantime showing off with the Blink Stock and Micro. And for now though, he's gonna lose a few in the front line, but it doesn't matter by this point. All he's trying to do is get through the funnel, get that win, and there he go. GG! Well played for STuggiii. Ties it up 1-1. And we have a match here, ladies and gents. We have a match.
Good plays. What a turnaround, actually.
Love it. I love it. And there you go. Can't go wrong with the Malupeyt there, Mr. Vic. You can't sleep on it. And if you just don't harass them enough, that's just the power of the early Colossi. It's just too much to handle. And those Marines looking like an absolutely crispy chicharron kind of thing, right? Have you ever seen a crispy chicharron made through a blowtorch? Then it's probably what you see on the ground there on Deathaura, because it's just everything looking so crispy. And my oh my, STuggiii answering drops very well as well.
Yeah, good plays coming in from STuggiii. Good micro too on that one. Not being behind on that worker count really proved to be essential coming in and transitioning into the mid game. And huge kudos to STuggiii. And we'll see on how they would finish this really amazing series as we head on to our game number 3.
Yes, sir. And that map will be Everdream LE. Gonna be pretty interesting, though, because we're seeing more and more of these small maps into the latter parts of the pool. Everdream, though, everyone pretty much plays this. Everyone pretty much knows how to do it. And you're gonna see the same kind of case. You can go for the blinks if need be to the high ground. You can go for the drops as well. But since STuggiii has had a good handle of the drops, I wonder what the play here for Shenanigans is. Will he just decide to go for the probe line harassment again? Because that's what worked last time for him. And some Hellions might just be the way to go to slow down STuggiii and then build his big ball. But for STuggiii in the meantime, if he's able to answer back in that way, defend his probes, then it might be a good show for our Protoss to move on. What are your thoughts there, Vic?
Well, if whatever works, you know. But the harassment coming in from Shenanigans was not that effective compared to game number 1. And the way that STuggiii manages to outpace him when it comes to micro and macro coming in onto that mid game is what really proved to be crucial on how STuggiii manages to snatch that victory away from Shenanigans. So let's see here what would be the plan for both of our players.
Exactly. And we will find that as we get into the game. No time to dilly-dally. Let's move on in game number 3, PVT on Everdream LE. Whew. Mr. Vic, we are in the game number 3, and I love it already. Yeah. So let's not waste some time. Introducing first, here on the bottom left, winning out at game number 2 with the Colossi, with that Malupeyt. He's looking pretty promising. He's looking to answer all those drops. He is your Protoss player on the green, STuggiii. His opponents here on the top right instead, he's going to be looking to show off the power of the Bioball. Question is, though, can he harass his opponent similar to game number 1 and win it out to sheer force of numbers? It's all about him getting his ball and rolling with it. He is your inaugural quarantine champion, looking to get back his crown. His name in game is Sarcasm, but he is Shenanigans. Here we are. Game number 3. Everdream LE? You think same kind of builds or something different?
Well, at this point, I think they would go for their standard bread and butter plays here, but I think Shenanigans might try something really aggressive on the early game once again, since that game number 2 was really not the Shenanigans that we're used to see without the early harassment too. So I think he needs to put some pressure to the pedal more.
Yeah, especially since Shenanigans likes to go for the quality push rather than the rushed one, which basically means that he's waiting for his upgrades to pop and time it right. So if he doesn't put his opponent in a bit of a bad state and he lets those Colossi fly up in the air, then that's just so difficult for those Marines. Even though the +1 is there, the number of Colossi, the number of things protecting them is looking to be a little bit overwhelming. But in the meantime, STuggiii showing that what he has planned in store for this series is not broken whatsoever in that game number 2. Able to go for the comeback there. Interesting Chrono Boost though from STuggiii. Rather than the Warp Gate, he's gonna put it onto the Nexus point. That means this man is looking to really prioritize as much workers as possible. But here we go into TVP. Adept gonna get Chrono boosted out as well. Pretty standard so far though for both sides, but here we go with the proxy factory. As I say standard, something cheesy happens. What's the plan here for Shenanigans? Perhaps what could this be?
I think he would just opt to go for that standard play once again. And good block here coming in from STuggiii. But this is what I notice against when I'm playing against STuggiii, is that he really prioritizes his economy. So if you would ask me what I do usually to STuggiii, is that I do some weird stuff, aggressive plays. And speaking of aggressive plays, a proxy factory already on the way here onto the side of Shenanigans, and we have a blind spot here.
Yes, we
on
do.
this part of Everdream.
Yes, sir. Shenanigans are gonna be absolute shenanigans here. And the fact of the matter, on a main base this big, yeah, if you don't pay attention, well, here we go. It's time for the barbecue yet again. And we talked about, well, roasted Marines. But, oh my god, the pylon is gonna get blocked. And the probe awkwardly stares at the factory. Is like, oh no, this is not good. This is not good at all. Stalker's gonna be onto the ramp, but here we go with the Hellion, and it just ignores the idle probe right there. Into the middle line we go, and Shades of Game 1 gonna be in position. STuggiii, you don't want this! Oh my god, that's just gonna be a good lineup right there. 4 probes have gone down. There we go with 6 of them getting get felled, and the Stalkers will get the shutdown, sure, but that factory has already made its mark, and this is just Shenanigans upping the tempo so far.
One Zoomy boy goes boom boom.
I don't think he goes boom boom. I think he goes what? Hot fire, super hot fire right there. But oh my god, Shenanigans again. This is why this guy can be innovative. He puts that factory where it hurts, and the probe is just like, what do I even do? It's like he's trying to call a manager, but apparently the Karen is just way too busy telling him off, and STuggiii right now needs to rebuild, needs to make sure that he can work with this, because they are even on the worker count, and you don't want that against a Terran, because those mules get so many minerals, and here we go. Triple rack setup looking to go online. We are seeing the reactor tech as well, and seems like Shenanigans is understanding where he's going wrong. He needs more units, and fast, and he's doing it as of this moment.
Yeah. Good plays coming in from Shenanigans, actually. Shades of Game number 1 there. Lots of lost mining time onto the side of STuggiii. And once again, the championship form, once you see this 3 barracks up and running, and a lot of probes dying, or maybe losing mining time, that's when you know that it's championship time, baby.
Yeah, it might be a champion time here. And even though it's less than game number 2, it was like 20 on game number 1, right? 10 on game number 2, and 6 here on game number 3. That was the most cost-effective we have seen since, of course, that big push. Because, on Eternal Empire, that was still the Liberator, some Hellions, this was the Reaper. But here, it's 1 Hellion for 6 probes. That's 3 times its value. That is just a trade deal going right there for the side of Shenanigans. And even though STuggiii wants to go for the push right now, with all of this army, with all of these Marines, I feel like he's gonna have a good shot at this. At the very least, trying to get more and more of that production on. Marines right now being built. He has to be careful though with that supply. He has to go for the Desperation Call supply just in case. But with 2 reactors right now, 1 for Medivacs, 1 for Marines, and with Marauders into play, I can really say our Terran should be confident on this defense.
Yeah, but what is interesting to me is that STuggiii actually went with the War Prism instead of a Colossus. So this is really surprising for me.
Yeah, and if you guys are just tuning on in, this is our 3rd and final Gold to Diamond match that we'll be broadcasting. So we're gonna be doing 3 Gold to Diamonds and 3 Master Pluses. We're not gonna do everything that you guys want us to pass out. That's a little too much to handle. But, of course, there is always an option for every single person to cast them. After I get this broadcast on, I'll be, of course, releasing that replay pack. So if you guys want to make your own content, be a caster like us, then feel free to do so as well. There are so many games that you may be able to cover, and we will appreciate it, giving everyone that credence. And if you guys haven't been able to get covered as of yet, don't worry, you will get priority just like these guys, because we are not getting any repeats from round number 1. Speaking of the repeats, so we will see the Marines and Marauders go for the chase. Get off my lawn, says the Terran. And this should be Shenanigans looking to set up that 3rd base.
Yeah, good plays coming in from both of our players, but Shenanigans having that supply lead, but I think that War Prism is what really changed my opinion on this game, because I think if STuggiii has a Colossus back then, he could have aggressively pushed and battle out with his Bioforce, but good run by here onto the side of STuggiii would be sniping away onto those SCVs that is left here all wide open into the main base.
Oh, he's going for that Tech Lab, interesting enough, but unfortunately there's no upgrade there, and he will shut down the add-on, but the C-Sack will still pop. Take note though, STuggiii just went for the drop there, and it really just goes to show that with STuggiii changing up his build, he has to play it a little differently. He had to go for the drops there. He will get the roll bait as of the moment. He can go for the Colossus if need be, but he doesn't have it yet. And now this is where it's looking scary for STuggiii, because Shenanigans has double the army count, and he is getting his bread and butter ready to go. He has all the Tech Lab upgrades from the barracks already. He's gonna get his +1 soon, and you can see the Shenanigans shuffle looking to go for the push, and he is ready to go yet again.
Yeah, this is a scary army coming in from the side of Shenanigans, and we can see the massive supply differential here. 20 army supply differential, and I think with STuggiii, this one Colossus would not be enough, but maybe we can see a Hail Mary defense here onto the side of STuggiii.
You know, the best thing STuggiii can do right now is give up his third base, get those pros pulled away, and
Yeah.
look to survive with all those workers, because he has to buy time here, Vic. He needs to get charge lot, because these zealots are getting completely useless. There you go, see the concussive shell slowing them down, and it's like putting glue onto those shoes. You cannot move whatsoever, and even though we see STuggiii trying to go for the Blink Star Micro, it's not going to be enough, because this is just going to be Shenanigans tearing everything apart, and this is looking pretty good for our Terran. You know, 2 Titans duel, but only 1 can come on out, and speaking of the Titan, that is the Colossus going on down. STuggiii knows the shattering of his dreams are in effect, and GG is called. Shenanigans will move on to round number 3, but you gotta say there, Vic, he had to earn that victory.
Yeah, really, STuggiii giving him the work, you know. And back to my comments is that the Colossus count was not really enough compared to game number 2. But you gotta give credits to STuggiii though. Just as we have said earlier, kahit ang layo ng rank nila, Platinum to Diamond 1, you know, STuggiii fought with parang buong puso yung binuhos niya dun eh.
Indeed. It was just STuggiii looking to keep up against his better opponent, and we gotta commend him, because this is not the first time he's done so, guys. This is not the first time we've seen STuggiii go against a Titan and still keep up a fight. As we said, 3rd place there in the Battle Royale. It really goes to show that this man can go against the best, and it feels like for STuggiii, his rank is a lie, his rank is a misnomer, and I'd love to see better things from him, because you can really see the potential from our Protoss. But it really just goes to show, when you see Shenanigans at his peak form, he can just really execute on that ball if need be, and very well played. Gets the push. When we saw the army count, it was the writing on the wall. A little bit of mistake though for STuggiii. I really think he should have gave up the 3rd and wait for that charge lot, because it's one thing to send in charge lots to their demise, because they'll at least get damaged. It's another to see zealots just try to make it, but it seems like they pull a hamstring. They can't go to the Olympics there, and that is that. But quick little recap though of our results. Eternal Empire, Deathaura, Everstream, 3 matches played, but Shenanigans will take the 2-1 win. And overall there, Vic, what do you think about that match?
Well, that series was actually parang kumbaga climax eh. Prime time last series for the Gold to Diamond for today. Tapos grabe yung matchup na pinakita nila. It's not one-sided. It's really close. And it all boiled down to just small decisions that is not made. So kudos to both of our players, and to be honest, natatakot ako kay Shenanigans eh. Baka magkita kami sa finals.
Ooh, yeah. That's true. And, you know, congratulations to all our victors here in our round 2 broadcast. So big kudos to, of course, Shenanigans for getting that dub. Big kudos to Mr. Lasty. And who am I forgetting? We have one more who moved on. And I do believe it's on the tip of my tongue here, Vic.
Garchu,
yes. Because I was like, Pikachu? No, it's Garchu. So there you go. Big congratulations to them. Pretty good form. So what was your favorite match there, Vic, from our 3 games?
Well, hindi ako biased, pero kinoach ko kasi si Mr. Lasty. Pero the last match, man, pang finals eh. Or kung hindi man pang finals, pang semifinals. Because sabi nga natin, both of these players already having achievements attached to their names. And it was really nice. It was really close.
Indeed. So there you go, guys. That's gonna be our first half of this broadcast. We'll take a little bit of a break. I'll grab some food, and Mr. Vic gonna be bowing on that because we'll have a next extra special guest. Mr. Extinct will be back to commentate. And thank you, Malupeyt, for everything you brought again, and good luck to your round 3 match. I can't wait to see that one, and we're gonna be looking to get that one on. Of course, you already know it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But anything else you want to say to the audience here, especially for fellow participants in the quarantine tournament number 5?
For my next matchup, kay Klo, kabahan ka na. Hindi, joke lang. Pero,
confidence, boss.
Pero, congratulations to our participants who made it onto the next round. And kita-kita tayo sa round number 3. And also, congratulations to Jenico Malabanan Boy. Or she said yes.
Oh, hashtag she said yes. Hashtag, that's why, guys, if you buy from Block 101, you already know that's gonna go to the wedding fund. You wanna see G-Boy get the bigger cake? You already know where to go. Check out Block 101. And this is the perfect time to wrap things up on the sponsor side. Check out Block 101 for all your hobby needs, and Pure PC for all your gaming and parts necessities. Don't forget, guys, that Pure PC is going to be giving away an additional prize to our champion. It is going to be the Fantech K613 for the TKL2 keyboard. So big kudos to that. But we are going to be going into a break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the bigger slice of the pie. We're going to get into the Master Plus bracket. We'll also be doing 3 of those games, so stay tuned, stick around. This is your official round 2 broadcast of Quarantine Tournament number 5, round number 2. We'll still have more games, so stay tuned and stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
Peace out, yo!